Let's begin by taking a moment to settle yourself. Find a comfortable position in your chair and begin to breathe slowly and deeply. Inhale, exhale. Just let the tension in your body begin to soften. As we move into our guided prayer visualization today, I'm going to be reading from Luke chapter 5, verses 1 through 11. And at first, I'm just going to read through the text. If you want to, you can close your eyes and keep them open. Just take in the text. You don't have to try to figure anything out. Pay attention to anything in particular. It's first reading. Once, when Jesus was standing on the shore of Lake Gennesaret, the crowd was pushing on him to better hear the word of God. He noticed 2 boats tied up. The fishermen had just left them and were scrubbing their nets. He climbed into the boat that was Simon's and asked him to put out a little from the shore. Sitting there, using the boat for a pulpit, he taught the crowd. When he finished teaching, he said to Simon, "Push out into deep water and let your nets out for a catch." And Simon said, "Master, we have been fishing hard all night and haven't even caught a minnow. But if you say so, I'll let out the nets." It was no sooner said than done. A huge haul of fish, straining the nets past capacity. They waved to their partners in the other boat to come help them. They filled both boats, nearly swamping them with the catch. Simon Peter, when he saw it, fell to his knees before Jesus. "Master, leave. I'm a sinner and I can't handle this holiness. Leave me to myself." And when they pulled in that catch of fish, awe overwhelmed Simon and everyone with him. It was the same with James and John, Zebedee's sons, co-workers with Simon. Jesus said to Simon, "There is nothing to fear. From now on, you'll be fishing for men and women." And they pulled their boats up on the beach, left them, nets and all, and followed him. As we move on into this prayer meditation, I'm going to read verses 1 and 3 again, and then continue with visualization. If you haven't already, I invite you to either close your eyes or gaze softly downward. I invite you to become aware of God who is always present, looking upon you with love and with a desire to speak. Once, when Jesus was standing on the shore of Lake Gennesaret, the crowd was pushing in on him to better hear the word of God. He noticed 2 boats tied up. The fishermen had just left them and were scrubbing their nets. He climbed into the boat that was Simon's and asked him to put out a little from the shore. Sitting there, using the boat for a pulpit, he taught the crowd. I want you to imagine that you're there in the scene. Try to visualize what it was like. You see Jesus by the glimmering lake. You can smell fish in the salty sea air. You feel the sun shining down on your body, warming it. You feel a slight breeze move across your face. You see a bright blue sky. There's a crowd around you, and they are eager to see, hear, and touch Jesus. You feel them pressing and pushing around you, trying to get closer to him. There's a smell of sweat in the air. It's dusty. You feel anticipation and excitement. And you look at Jesus there before you. You hear his voice. It is firm and strong. Yet there's also a quality of care and concern. Jesus pauses, and you notice him looking over by the 2 boats that have pulled up the bank of the lake. There are fishermen there washing their nets in the lake by the boat. You hear the swish of the nets in the water, and you watch them as they go up and down. You watch as Jesus walks over to the boat, and you hear him ask Simon if he can get into the boat. And he asks Simon to put about a bit from shore. Jesus sits in the boat, contented and ready to teach again. He starts to speak, and you listen closely. This time, the words sink into your heart. What does Jesus say to you that you need so much to hear? And when Jesus finished teaching, he said to Simon, "Push out into deep water and let your nets out for a catch." Simon said, "Master, we've been fishing hard all night and haven't even caught a minnow. But if you say so, I'll let out the nets." Imagine that you are Simon Peter, and Jesus tells you to go out into the deep water. Then he tells you to put out your net in that deep water. You remember how you've worked all night long and you've caught absolutely nothing. You can feel your sore muscles and your tired eyes. You're exhausted. But you are drawn by Jesus and his insistence. So you toss the nets in. You hear it splash in the water, and you watch it sink down into the deep. What are you thinking as you toss in the net and wait? You begin to pull the net back in. It is so heavy you can hardly pull on it, and your heart beats faster and faster. You call to those in the other boat to come and help you. And together you haul the net close to the boats. And then you toss fish, fish, or fish into the boat. You are surrounded by fish everywhere. Everyone is full of surprise. You can hardly believe what's happening. And then you look up to Jesus. You see joy, love, and delight on his face. He seems to look straight into your heart. And suddenly, you feel humbled and awed by the presence of such love. Jesus reaches out to take your hand. He speaks to you. Will you leave your old things behind and follow me? Will you join me in my life and my work? Will you come with me? You go to the shore with Jesus and you ask if you can sit down and talk with him. Spend some time just talking with Jesus about the invitation he has given you.